Hi, welcome to Magnificence Moments. I'm Sue, your Magnificence mentor. Today, let's focus a little bit on emotions. As human beings, we're wired to have just a full spectrum of emotions, right from sheer rage to ecstasy on the other end, from terrible sadness to great joy. And everything in between, minor irritations, little delights, all the variety that there are. Well, we have all those emotions. So why do we feel at times that we're not allowed to express how we really feel? In fact, in lots of cases, we're not even encouraged to feel how we really feel. I can remember being little and I'd be crying about something, and my parents, with the best of intentions, would say, "Stop that crying or I'll give you something to cry about." And I learned fairly quickly that there were certain either ranges of emotions that were not considered appropriate, especially in public. And there were also times when I wasn't allowed to feel what I was really feeling, or it certainly wasn't encouraged. So I learned to kind of numb out. I learned to not feel, in fact. And it wasn't until I was in probably my mid 50s that I began to realize that I'd looked at my issues, I talked about ways to improve, but in the whole scheme of things, first and foremost, I really didn't know how to feel because I had shut down to the point where I wasn't even sure what my emotions were at any given time. So I got some help, and the professional that I worked with was great. I called them crying lessons because I shed buckets and buckets of tears in this process to rediscover what I was really feeling. The saddest part in our society is that we don't allow what we're feeling. And sometimes because it gets stuffed inside and stuffed inside, someone once said to me that depression is anger turned inward. Well, what would happen if in an appropriate way you just express that anger in the moment? What would that do to your sense of well-being? Certainly, there's been lots of research that talks about how dis-ease, which simply means you're not happy, I'm uneasy about something, can contribute over time to disease, to heart conditions, to cancer, to you name it, just about any disease you want to name. When they track back the root, there's some kind of emotional component to that that's harmful to us, that's harmful to our health. And in many cases, because we don't allow ourselves to express it. Somebody says, well, how are you doing? Maybe it's your best friend and say, how are you doing today? And you want to say, I feel crappy. I don't know what's wrong with me. Something's wrong. And so, excuse me. So, but we don't say it because, oh, they don't want to hear about that. And in some cases, they don't. But there's nothing wrong with a genuine expression of where we are and where we're coming from. So I think it's really important as we work on this path to magnificence. Just a second, I need a drink of water here. Really funny that I'm talking about emotions and I'm getting all choked up. Yeah, that's how it goes, right? So what we want to pay attention to is honoring what we're feeling. If we're feeling really, really sad, we want to acknowledge that and allow ourselves to go through that, because how in the world can you ever experience great, great joy if you never allow yourself to experience sadness? And of course, the degree has an impact too. I can remember my folks were taking us to Disneyland. I think I was 11. I was over the moon excited. And I didn't hesitate to express it at that time until my mom said, now, don't get so excited because you know it might not actually happen. And I know she was trying to protect me from being disappointed if something went amiss and we didn't actually go. But it just took all the joy and excitement leading up to the actual event because that was as exciting to think about it. And it felt so good just to imagine being there. And yet it got squashed. So I'm really encouraging you as you work along this path to unlocking and embracing your own magnificence. Really pay attention to how and when and if you express what you're really feeling. We have lots of emoticons to express a variety of feelings. Well, if you can't quite decide how you feel, pick one of those and see if it helps you kind of zero in and allow yourself to just really immerse in whatever that feeling is, because there's benefits there. And as human beings, how can we express our magnificence if we don't allow ourselves that free range of all the emotions that exist for us? So until next time, remember, you are magnificent.